It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer, and it's January here in the UK, which means there's quite a lot of people doing dry January. There's a lot of people who are, I wouldn't say everyone, but there are a lot of people that I speak to. Dry January has really caught on. It's kind of like a lot of people are doing it. Even people who don't really drink are doing dry January. So I've collected a few beers towards the back end of last year. There were either, I picked them up in the shop, some channel sponsors give me some non-alcoholic beer, and I went to Brewery back in, it was September sometime, and they gave me a box of beer, and in that was some non-alcoholic beer. So blow the dust off. This is Brain's No Brainer IPA at 0.5% ABV. Brewed at the Dragon Brewery, Pacific Road, Cardiff. 330ml can. Quite like the look of the can. They've made it obvious here that it's non-alcoholic. You can imagine the traditional Brains drinker picking this up with small print of 0.5% ABV and them going, what's this, you know, type of thing. So they've made it absolutely obvious here. Have Brains with that great big font on the front. Ooh. On the front of the can. Now I have had this beer a couple of months, so I say a couple of months, since September, it's now January, 3 months. I just wonder if that's a little bit of re-fermentation or something going on there, which, if it is, then it may not be 0.5% ABV anymore. Oh, I don't know. Don't ask me, I'm not a scientist. Beer in the glass. We got a 1 finger white head. Good levels of carbonation there. And it's a golden amber coloured beer. It's clear as well, there's no sediment in there whatsoever. Let's get the aroma then. It smells pretty decent. There's a combination of a few things going on here. There's definitely a hop present. There's definitely like a slight grapefruity, citrusy hop in there. It's slightly spicy, slightly peppery, and then you're picking up. It's quite worty. It's quite malty and worty. Let's dive into Brains No Brainer. Cheers, everybody. Pardon me, if you heard that. Rewind 10 seconds if you like, and put the volume on full blast. Oh. Nicely carbonated. It is quite hoppy. It's definitely not a traditional hop that they've used here. This is more a new world, if you like. I say new world. These new world hops have been out like 15 years now, so it's not really new world anymore, but the more kind of, you know, grapefruit, orange peel, that sort of hop thing going on. It's got a little bit of a bitterness on the back end, but then it's very wordy in the middle. It's very It's very sweet malt flavours coming through in the middle of the beer. There's a couple of ways of brewing these. I was speaking to a brewer from West Wales about reverse osmosis. I was sitting there listening to him, and he was talking about non-alcoholic drinks to me, and he was on about reverse osmosis, which they kind of like, I think they brew the beer at a normal ABV and then they somehow reverse it back to nothing. I don't know how this stuff is produced. I've got no idea. I know how normal beer is produced. You know, the yeast gets eaten up by sugars, and then the sugars get turned into alcohol, and job done. But they do actually brew. A lot of these breweries brew them as normal beers, and then they can somehow kind of reverse the process of the alcohol. Somehow kind of like take the alcohol out of the beer. It's an interesting one. I think the big question is, would I choose this over a cup of tea? Would I choose this over a cup of coffee? Would I choose this over a Coke or a Sprite or a Fanta? Probably. I think that's the first time I've ever said that. Probably. It almost, if you think hard enough about it, if you're in an in-depth conversation in the pub about something, say you've just bought yourself a nice car and you're talking to your best mate about it in the pub, and your sole focus is on about talking to him about your new car, then the drink very quickly, the beer that you're drinking very quickly becomes a side note. It's a bit like when I go and play snooker. My sole focus when I go to play snooker is to play snooker. It's a benefit that I get to drink Sharp's Doombar while I'm there. But as a beer reviewer, who's somebody who tastes beer on a daily basis, do I think about that Sharp's Doombar, the flavours, the depth, is it good, is it bad? Do I do all of those normal things when I'm playing snooker? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I think, yeah, example, I'll just give you the example, the car thing. You bought a car, you're in depth, you're talking to him about the electric windows and the self-driving thing and everything else that's going on, and you're really excited about your new car. You're probably more involved in the conversation than you are the beer. You're standing there with a non-alcoholic beer, and I suppose you can probably just about wrap your mind around it. That's what it's about for me, wrapping your mind around it. I wouldn't want to drink too much of it. I wouldn't want to drink too much. Maybe if I was having a meal. They exist, don't they? They exist, and apparently it's a booming sector. I've never seen anybody drink non-alcoholic beer in where I go to drink, where I go to craft beer. I never see it. So, of course, people, if they want something to be a booming sector, they'll tell you it's a booming sector, won't they, first and foremost. No Brainer IPA is brewed with a trio of hops, resulting in a beer that exudes vibrant citrus aromas. Its flavour profile is characterised by a seamlessly sweet malt presence, featuring notes reminiscent of baked bread, biscuits and toffee. Simply heavenly. Yeah, it's alright that. It's alright. It's for me, it was never going to rip up any trees. It was never going to be one of those kind of like Stone the Crows beers. I'm starting to understand it all a little bit. I wouldn't buy a full pack of it and drink it at home. But I'll give you the example of what I would drink it. So for me, yeah, it's okay. It's a 7 out of 10. For non-alcoholic beer, it's okay. 7 out of 10. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.